Welcome to Click for IB Biology. This is the last of the videos in the section of the syllabus about the niche theory. And here we're looking at what's called the competitive exclusion principle, perhaps known as Gauss's law in some textbooks. There's a blank version of this presentation, this PDF, down in the description. You can download that, annotate that with your own notes, and then do the 10 questions, look at the answers, and check out your progress. So this is an image of Georgy Gause, a famous Russian ecologist. He worked on a number of types of ecology, including predator-prey work, but also later in his life went on to work on antibiotics. So Gauss's law was published way back in 1934, nearly 100 years ago. And this is what it says. It says that two species competing for exactly the same resources cannot stably coexist in the same niche. So this is the competition is for the same resources, and the exclusion means that they cannot exist together. So in Gauss's work, he put together two Paramecium species, Paramecium caudatum and Paramecium aurelia, and these two species are known to have the same resource demands, and so they were competing for the same resources. And it was not possible when putting these two species together for them both to survive within the set of conditions that he had set up in his experiment. So by varying the conditions, it was possible to make this one survive or this one, but they could not coexist. On the other hand, another experiment in which he used again caudatum, Paramecium caudatum, but then used Bacilli, the other one, and you can see from the green color here, this is tending to suggest some sort of photosynthetic niche instead. These two species of Paramecium are feeding or obtaining their nutrient from different sources, so the competition is reduced, and it was possible for these two species to coexist. So species can only coexist if they utilize different resources or exploit the resources in a different way. And that different way can also include time. So exploiting the resource at a different time. Where two species do come into competition, it may be possible by changes in the species' behavior for one species to focus on one part of the resources and another species to focus on another part of the resources. And we call this resource partitioning. And that may be possible to minimize the competition and for two species to coexist. So this was posited in 1934 and has largely been in ecology textbooks ever since, but has in recent times come into question through observation, particularly of the growth of organisms in the ocean, and particularly the plankton. Plankton in the ocean seem to have a tremendous diversity of organisms growing in the same space and time and competing for the same resources, and yet doing so successfully. So if ecology is your kind of thing, then it may well be worth exploring the challenges to Gauss's law and the competitive exclusion principle in the 21st century, rather than the principle which was stated back in the early 20th century. That's the last video in this sequence, so we're directing you to subscribe to the channel. That would be very much appreciated. And here's the playlist of all the other videos in this sequence.